friends, Coach Alyssa here, and today we are going to be doing our first installment of repurposed art. What is repurposed art? Well, it's taking things that we would normally throw away and repurposing them by transforming them into art or other useful items. And today we will be making decorative bowls out of a carton paper. Are you ready? I sure am. So, the first thing we will need is egg cartons. Now, I had a full 30 pack of egg tray sized egg carton. You might just have a regular dozen egg carton. That is totally fine. All we will need for this project is about 6 cups worth of egg carton paper. Cups meaning these little divots that you see here. So we're only going to take 6 of them. And we're going to cut those off with some scissors, like so. Once you've cut your strip of 6 little cups off, we will need to cut them individually as well. Once you have cut each individual cup, we're going to cut each cup into 4 parts. So you should have these little arrowhead looking pieces like so. So let's make sure that we do that to all 6 cups. Once you have all of your pieces, we are going to begin tearing these up into pieces that are as small as possible. As small as possible. You can't, so small that you can't even really see it from the camera view that I have right now. But cut them up real small. This is going to be time consuming, so maybe while you do this, you could do this with your parents. You could do this with your family and have a discussion as you do it. And so, what you'll have once you have finished ripping everything up is something that looks something like a little nest in your bowl. If any of you have hamsters, it kind of reminds me of the fluffy type of bedding. But anyway, this is what you should have. So now we're ready for our next step. And so our next step is going to be gradually adding water into our bowl with our egg carton paper. Gradually means very, very slowly, because what we don't want to end up with is a product that is too wet. We're going to just get it wet enough to absorb the water so that it can become a soft paste. So here is my water. I will definitely not be using all of this water for this little bit. Everyone will be different though, because some of you might decide you want a bigger bowl and maybe you'll use 12 cups, or some of you might not have 6 cups to work with and it'll have less paper. It all depends. So that's why it's very important that we slowly pour the water in, a little at a time like so. So here's my little first bit. Now that you have just a little bit, you're going to kind of mix it into what you already have. You'll notice that just the first pour alone will get most of your egg carton paper wet. However, you will see that some of it is still just the littlest bit dry. So we gotta add the littlest bit of water. Once you have evenly distributed water on all of your pieces, you're going to go ahead and press them into the bottom of your bowl like this. Just press them with the pads of your fingers. Adding just a little more once you've done that. What you should have once you've done that is something that looks like this. Now what we need to do is let this sit for 10 minutes. What we can do in that 10 minutes is we can go ahead and start cleaning the space around us. Remember, it's very important that we constantly clean surfaces so as not to have the virus on it. Now, since I still have some time to spare, I thought I would share my first attempt at this project. It was kind of a fail, so that's how I learned what to do, but more importantly, what not to do. So, first of all, I would say my first mistake was using too much water. Remember, I brought up adding the water gradually, and I also had the water in the bowl before the egg carton paper. That was a major fail. So, what I ended up with, which we will see once we reach some future steps, is a bowl that I still cannot take out of the mold after more than 24 hours because it is still wet. So we need to be extremely careful about the amount of water we use. Also, I used a plastic bag that I cannot see through. It is best to use a clear plastic. If you don't have a clear plastic, that is okay. It should still be okay so long as you didn't overdo it on the water. So I'm just here warning you of my mistakes so you do not make the same ones. So once you have let your egg carton paper and water rest for about 10 minutes, you should notice that all of your little bits are sticking together. This is a good thing. So now we're going to move on to our next step. Next step, we're going to need some white school glue and some food coloring. So the first thing we're going to add is our food coloring. We're going to need about 4 tablespoons or just your regular plastic spoons worth of food coloring. You can do all of one color or you can mix them. I, for one, am going to mix the blue and the green to make a nice teal color. Once you've added the food coloring with the same spoon, just kind of mix the egg carton paper with the food coloring. It's best not to use your hands or else they will get stained. Keep in mind that food coloring is very saturated in color, so what you might have it might look very dark, but as it dries out in the sun, the color will lighten up a little bit. So once you've finished mixing your food coloring, you're once again going to smash everything to the bottom of the bowl. Try to make it an even layer. And now we are going to add 4 tablespoons of white glue. So again, just open your glue bottle and pour it directly into your spoon. Once you've added the glue in the bowl, again using your spoon, you're going to mix everything together. And once you're done mixing, once again, press it to the bottom of the bowl. Once that's done, we're going to take a small little plastic bowl, or if we don't have a little Tupperware bowl such as this, you can use a little plastic cup like this and just cut around to make it as small as you need it to be. So we're going to take our little bowl and we're going to find ourselves some clear plastic, such as this, and we're going to use it to line our bowl. So first we're going to have to cut it. And once we finish cutting it, we're going to go ahead and put it in the bowl. Make sure, maybe use your fist or your fingers to really press it in there and make sure that it is in here as smoothly as possible. Once we've done that, we can go ahead and start using our spoon to add our egg carton paper mix. Just scoops at a time, we're going to go ahead and put it in there and press it in there as firmly as possible. Don't forget to also press it into the walls of the bowl. Do not just get the bottom. And again, this is where having clear plastic is better than having a non-clear plastic, because you can look all around and make sure that you do not have any gaps. What you'll also want to do is get any excess moisture out by just gently squeezing with your spoon against the mixture and let it fall back into the bowl that you had your mixture in. And once you're finished, you'll have something that looks a bit like this, evenly coated and ready to go in the sun. So if you have a balcony, it would be great to put it in direct sunlight. If you don't, just a window with the most sunlight will be best, and we're going to let it stay there for a full 24 hours. So I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey guys! Well, now we're back the next day. So, as we can see, it does not look the prettiest on the inside, but if you touch it, it should be dry to the touch, maybe a little sticky. That's okay. So, our next step is going to be flipping it over. So, first we are going to take the plastic right out of the bowl, like so. And then we're going to gently unwrap it. Careful, your fingers may get dirty. So make sure we wash our hands after this. We should be washing our hands anyway, right? Perfect. So as you can see, I have finished unwrapping it. Now we're going to just flip it over gently as possible. So it is like this. You can either leave it like this, or what I'm going to do is I am going to just kind of airlift it like so and put it back in the bowl so that the walls of my bowl are still kind of maintained, and so that my bottom can start baking. Now that your bottom is baking, we're gonna leave it out for 12 hours. So that's not a full day. Maybe in those 12 hours you can go on VCLUB and you could check out some of our other stuff. Depending on when you're doing this project, maybe that means that you are doing book club. Maybe that means you're participating in Fun Friday. Maybe you're doing Animal Explorers with Coach Masis. Who knows? But hopefully you will find something to do with your 12 hours. I will check back in with you then.
Hi friends, so hopefully you've had fun with some of our other VCLUB programs that I mentioned while you were waiting the 12 hours for your bowl to finish drying. Hopefully your bowl did not face the same tragedy that mine did. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, I had it drying in our balcony area, and one really strong gust of wind came by and knocked it down. And so, I will come a little closer to show you. You can see I have quite a bit of holes now, and I have a lot of flaked off parts from the fall, which is a real shame because it was looking pretty solid up until the fall. That's okay, sometimes things happen, mistakes happen, and we work with them. So now we move on to the extra fun part of this activity, which is the decorating portion. I'm going to decorate my little dish with some things I have lying around, like these artificial flowers that I had from Easter. Perhaps you guys have leftover Easter decorations or anything you could possibly think of. I can't wait to see your bowls. So I'm just going to cut a couple of these off, or I'm just going to pull the flower off the stem like so. And now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and just glue them on. And there you have it. Once you have finished decorating your bowl, simply set it aside and allow it to rest. Once the glue is dry, you'll be able to use it to store things, maybe things like jewelry or small pieces to toys. You name it, and you can keep it in your bowl. So I hope you had a lot of fun making this craft. I know it was kind of time consuming, a lot of waiting around, but hopefully you made the best of that time, and I will see you next time. And there you have it. Once you are happy with where you have your decorations, you're just going to let it And there you have it. Once your decorations are right where you'd like them, then you're just going to go ahead and set it aside and let it rest until the glue is done drying, and then you could use it. You could use it to put, I don't know, maybe some... Come on, flower, you gotta stick. 3 times a charm. And well, maybe my bowl only wants 2 flowers, so I'm gonna just let it stay with. And there you have it. Once you have finished